Hello everyone, I am Mandeep and today's topic of my video is about Ielts writing task 1 academic related to diagram. In my last video, I explained some important tips on how to explain diagram in order to get band 9 in task 1. And in this video, I will explain diagram with a band 9 sample so that you can understand how you will explain diagram effectively or appropriately. But before that, I will explain some important vocabulary related to diagram. First of all, starting introduction. That in the introduction you have to paraphrase the statement given in the question. So you can start by paraphrasing like the given representation. Like the question is given that the diagram shows that, and some statement is given. The diagram shows that. But for the diagram, you can paraphrase it as the given representation, the given diagram, the supplied picture, the supplied illustration, the provided illustration, or the provided representation. These are the different ways of starting introduction. You can use it in any combination like the given illustration, the supplied representation, in any way you want. And after that, as the statement mentions, the diagram shows. For shows, you can use different words. And you should use some vocabulary words that are really different or less common if you want to get good bands, like displays, shows, explains, describes, delineates. Delineate is a really good vocabulary word because only few students will use it. Depicts, represents, outlines, illustrates. So you can use any of these. But if the statement says the diagram shows, don't use the word shows. Use any other word. Now, after that, you have to write overall. Like, firstly, you will give the introduction, then you will explain overall, and then two body paragraphs. So, in the overall, what you have to write? You can simply start with overall, like overall, and then you can explain, and you can use it in a different way, like from the overall analysis. But you can add some extra line that you can simply use that overall it is clear that, evident that, apparent that. These are really simple forms. It is better not to use that because it is really like old-fashioned vocabulary. So try to use it different, like overall it is manifest that, means it is clear that. From the overall analysis it is explicit that. Obviously explicit means it is clear that. So these two sentence formations are really good as it is really less used by students, and if you use less common vocabulary, obviously you will get good bands. And then as after mentioning overall, that you will explain that overall there are suppose 7 steps, stages, or 8, anything like according to the diagram. You will firstly explain overall it is explicit that there are 7 stages in the process. Then you have to explain that what is the first step and what is the last step, that what is the from where it starts and from to where it ends. Like, so you can use the word start or any other words like commences or commencing. You can use it in like continuous form or present indefinite form. Commencing with or commences with, starting with or starts with, beginning with, begins with, initiating with, initiates with. You can use it in any combination. And for the last step, you can say ending with or ends with, terminating with, terminates with, culminating with, culminates with, finishing with, finishes with. But what you have to make sure is that if you are using the starting step in continuous form, then mention the last step in continuous form as well. Like there are 7 steps in the process, commencing with the first step and culminating with the last step. Commencing with, culminating with. Or you can say that starts with or terminates with. Use in the same form. That will be the overall. And then here is a sample task 1. The diagram below shows how instant noodles are manufactured. So the whole process explains how the instant noodles are produced, And here what you have to make note is that they have given the heading again, manufacturing instant noodles, and after that they have given a diagram, a small diagram, or you can say an icon of a cup in which there are noodles. So I believe that if you really want to make a good paraphrasing of the introduction sentence, then you should pay attention to these as well. And if you use that word like cup in the paraphrasing or in the introduction, then you will get good point for that, because they will think that you have analyzed the whole diagram, and for that you will get more bands as compared to the other student who hasn't paid any attention to that icon. In the diagram they have specified the 8 points, so it is clear that there are 8 steps or 8 stages, and then there will be 2 body paragraphs. So you can make 2 body paragraphs depending on the 4 steps in the one part and the 4 steps in the another part. But you should analyze the diagram thoroughly before deciding that where to separate or split it into 2 paragraphs. Like here in the diagram, firstly there are storage silos where the flour is transported from the truck to the silos, and then there is a mixer. There the dough sheets are made, dough strips means they are cut it into strips. After that noodle disc form is created, cooked and drying, then vegetables and spices are added, and then labeling and sealing. So here we can analyze that. We can divide it into 2 paragraphs depending or based on the dough. Like in the 4 points the dough strips are created, and then after that the noodles disc forms are made. So we can start another paragraph from 5th point. Or what you can do is, like, you can explain 1 to 6 points in one paragraph. Like you can explain the whole procedure of manufacturing in the first body paragraph, and then the packing, labeling and sealing you can explain in the another paragraph. So there are 2 options, you can do it in any way. So firstly the introduction. Like the diagram below shows how instant noodles are manufactured. So it is better we shouldn't use the word diagram again. We can use the word picture, representation or illustration. And there it shows, we can use any other word like displays, outlines, explains, illustrates, any word. So here I've given 2 introductions. Like the given picture outlines. The given picture outlines but how instant noodles are manufactured. You can change it as, you can use the word, if there was no heading manufacturing, the manufactured word can be changed into manufacturing as well. But here you can use the word produce, make. So you can write it as producing, making instant noodles. So the example is, the given picture outlines the process by which instant noodles are made. It is really a good introduction. But as I have told you that in order to get good bands, as this teacher can analyze that you have thoroughly analyzed the diagram, it is better to use the word cup as that icon is made. So another way of presenting is as the provided representation delineates the procedure of producing instant cup noodles. So the examiner will understand that you have analyzed it, and the person who has given the first statement will get less bands as compared to the other student who has given the statement as the second example. So here I think you will get the clear understanding that here it is really better to paraphrase the statement and pay attention to all the points. Okay, then you have to write overall, as it is clear that there are about 8 points and 8 steps or stages. So you can write it as simple. And then when what is done in the first step, there are storage silos, and then this flour is added to the silos from a truck. So firstly what is done is that in the silos flour is stored. And what is the last step? That the labeling and sealing is done. So we can write it as, from the overall analysis it is explicit that means it is clear that there are 8 stages or steps before the final product is delivered to the store. It is really a good way. You can simply write as there are 8 stages in the process, but that is really a simple description. As there is a product is produced, obviously that product will go to the market. So we can write it as before final product is delivered to the store or market. And then the process starts with what? Storing in the silos. And then we can write as the process starts with storing flour in silos and culminates with labeling and sealing cups. Then before moving forward, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, do subscribe and do press the like button. Okay, then the body paragraphs. Here we will explain 4 steps in the first paragraph. Like first of all, we can start with the sequences that we can use. I have made another video, like I have told you in the starting, that I have made another video in which I have given the important tips on how to explain the diagram using the sequencers and how to paraphrase and what you have to do, like explaining the purpose of a particular step. That everything is explained in another video. I will add the link in the description box. So then here, first of all, what is done is that here in the overall we have written that the flour is stored in the silos. So here we will not write the same sentence, we need to change it. And here we can pay attention to the truck and we can use that word in our paraphrasing. And as there is silos, we have used the word silos in the overall. Here we can use it just like silos. There you can see that it is much larger as compared to the truck, so we can say that they are like tall towers. So we can paraphrase it as like that. So first of all, the flour procured because it is purchased and transported by truck, so we can use the word procured. The flour procured is transferred to the tall towers called silos from truck for storage. It is the first process. Then firstly we will analyze the steps. Then there is a mixer where the flour is transferred and then water and oil is added. Then there are rollers. With the help of rollers it moves further and the dough sheets are made using the rollers. And after that the dough sheets are split into strips. Okay, then these steps we will explain in that body paragraph. And what you have to make sure is that there are rollers mentioned below the mixer, but when the strips are made and when the noodle discs are made also as well in the cooking and drying, still the rollers have been shown. Means the whole process working automatically. And like on a moving tray, we can say that on a moving tray it is like moving forwards. So here after that we will explain the mixer step after the first one, that it is like flour is transferred to storage silos like tall towers. We have used the word transfers. We'll not use the word again. So what we can use instead is that the synonym, that is shifted, because it is really far away. So we can say that it is then shifted into a special mixer. We can simply write mixer or a special mixer, or you can use any other word like a container or something else. Shifted to a special mixer where it is blended with appropriate amount of water and oil to form dough. Here I have put it red as where it is blended, because here I have explained the purpose, that why it is put into a mixer. Explaining purpose, I've explained that point in detail in my last video. You can check from there that what is the purpose of writing it here, like where it is, but means what is done at that point, where it is blended or mixed with appropriate amount of water and oil to form dough, or in order to form dough. After that, or next, with the help of rulers, dough is transformed into flat sheets. Because there are sheets, obviously these are flat sheets. The dough is transformed into flat sheets, after which the dough sheets are cut into long strips. We can see that these are long, so these are long strips with the cutters attached. Because the sheets are cut into strips, these will obviously be cut with cutters, so we can write it as the dough sheets are cut into long strips with the cutters that are attached to the mechanism that works automatically. I have focused on the word automatic because they are moving automatically. So it is really important that you pay attention to each and everything. So I hope you understand how to explain it, the first body paragraph, and the next 5, 6, 7, 8, these 4 points I will explain in the next body paragraph. As after that, the noodle discs are formed and they move on like a tray, and after that cooking and drying. After that, in the cups, vegetable spices are added along with the noodles as well, and then labeling and sealing is done. So we will start the another paragraph with another connector, that is in the subsequent stage the dough strips are molded because they are changed, their form is changed. The dough strips are molded in the form of discs on automatic conveyor belt because it is moving automatically. So I have used the word automatic conveyor belt, which are then fried in oil and left to dry. Which are then, I've used the connector, which are then fried in oil and left to dry. So I've explained the 5th and 6th step in one sentence, so it is like a complex sentence. After that, following this, the dried noodle discs are put into cups. Obviously, if vegetables and spices are added, they are also added in the cups. That is, discs are also added in the cups. The cups, like following this, the dried noodle discs are put into the cups along with assorted vegetables and spices, that is flavored vegetables and spices. Finally, this is the last step, like sealing and labeling is done. But before sealing, obviously labeling will be done. So we consider before sealing, the cups undergo labeling or labeling process. The cups undergo labeling to specify what is the purpose of labeling, to specify time and date of manufacture as well as the expiry date. Labeling to specify time and date of manufacture as well as expiry date, so that the final product gets ready for sale in the market. So that I have added another information to make it more appropriate, so that the final product gets ready for sale in the market. I hope you understand everything. Now, if you want me to make a video on any topic, let me know by writing in the comment section on anything like reading, writing, speaking, and even on listening. So if you really like this video, do subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and do press the like button and share this video with your friends. Here is a Facebook page, that is Complete Success, and also a website, that is ielts.completesuccess.in. Do follow it. Thank you.